Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of these intense, real-life stories. I never imagined I'd see Marble standing on my doorstep again. Not after how she left a year ago. Back then she said she needed time to find herself, which was really her way of admitting she'd already found someone else. I remember the hollow ache in my chest as she zipped up her lilac suitcase, the one plastered with travel stickers we had planned to collect together. Instead, she filled it with memories alongside a man named Trevor. I didn't cry when she walked out. Shock has a strange way of drying up emotions, but the silence that followed was deafening, echoing for months. Over time, though, I slowly rebuilt my life piece by piece. So when she showed up at my door, tears in her eyes and a carefully practiced tremble in her voice, my first reaction wasn't nostalgia. It was pure confusion. She whispered my name as if saying Lennon could erase all the hurt she'd caused. She smelled the same, warm vanilla and expensive shampoo. But I wasn't the man she had left behind. I stepped aside, not out of sentiment, but so the neighbors wouldn't hear her dramatic sniffles. She moved through my apartment like she'd never forgotten the layout, tracing her fingers over the sofa as if it were still hers. I watched her, noticing the constant glances, searching for traces that I'd moved on. Maybe she expected to find her sweater draped over the armrest or her photos still hanging in the hallway. But she found empty spaces where she used to be and calm where her chaos once reigned. She sank into the couch and immediately began her familiar speech. How she'd made a mistake, how Trevor was manipulative, how she finally realized I was the man who truly loved her. I listened, arms crossed, detached, as if I were hearing someone else's story. I wasn't being rude. I was simply no longer the wounded man I had been. When she admitted she missed me, her voice cracked just perfectly. A year ago it might have worked. Now it sounded rehearsed, practiced. I let her speak and eventually she reached for my hand, delicate and trembling like she used to. The old me would have crumbled at that touch. The new me gently pulled away. That's when I saw the first real crack in her composure. Her smile faltered, her eyes darting around, searching for some sign that she still belonged here. What she didn't know was that moments before she knocked, I had been on the phone with someone who actually mattered now. Someone who treated love as more than a hobby. Marble kept talking, trying to pull me back into old memories. But her words faded when I heard the soft click of the front gate outside. She didn't arrive. I did. My heartbeat remained steady. Marble glanced toward the sound, confused, then back at me, too late to react. I didn't warn her. I didn't know her that. The front door opened and there she was. Juniper. Calm, confident in her soft way, carrying a book she had borrowed a few days ago. Her hair was tied loosely, and when she smiled at me, shy but warm, it was enough to fill the room. Then her eyes met Marble's, and Marble noticed that smile. That tiny gesture ignited a fuse. Marble jumped to her feet, fury painting her face. "Who is she?" she demanded, though she already knew. Juniper didn't flinch. She greeted her politely, which only made Marble angrier. I could see it all clicking together in her mind. The neat rooms, the peace, the absence of reminders of heartache. She hadn't returned to the man she'd abandoned. She returned to someone new, someone she could no longer access. I told her the truth. After our divorce, Juniper, once her best friend, had been the only one who genuinely checked on me. No hidden motives. No gossip. She simply showed up. At first, we bonded over stories of how easily Marble discarded people, once they no longer served her ego. Then understanding became connection, and connection became something neither of us forced. A beautiful, genuine bond. Marble's face twisted, not with heartbreak, but with disbelief, the kind that bruises pride more than the heart. She tried to blame Juniper for stealing me, but I reminded her. She wasn't stolen. She left and in doing so made space for someone better. Juniper stepped closer, not possessively, just naturally, as if she belonged there. Her presence alone answered every question Marble didn't dare voice. Marble let out a bitter, sharp, broken laugh as she grabbed her purse, muttering that I'd regret this. But I didn't believe her, and she knew it. She stormed out, casting one last glance at Juniper, whose smile never faltered. When the door finally closed behind Marble, the quiet felt different, peaceful, not heavy like it did a year ago. Juniper placed her book on the table and looked at me with that quiet, curious gaze, asking without words if I was okay. For the first time in a long while, I truly was. She didn't smile because she'd won anything. She smiled because Marble no longer had a place in my life. She smiled because we had chosen each other out of connection, not pain or rebound. Her smile was steady, warm, grounding. Marble had returned expecting to find me wounded and lonely. Instead, she found me whole, standing beside someone who treated love the way it deserved. Gently, consistently, and without fear. And that was something she could never take back.